We'll now go to item number 19, citizen discussion request regarding waste management in Torrance County. Thank you guys for staying. I know it's a late hour, so let's see what we can do to keep it kind of brief, but we will work with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll try to do that. I want to make sure you received my report.
Yes, sir.
Everybody had a chance to read it, and I won't repeat. And also, you made the commitment tonight to meet with the Waste Authority on the 1st. That's a good move, and after you talked about that at the last Waste Authority Board of Directors, when you left, they went into a long discussion about how they would get more money. As you know, they discussed with you the fact they're shedding some services, like the waste pickup in Willard, and other people have been laid off from the authority. Each time they lay somebody off full-time is $30,000 into their kitty. So the county is faced with diminishing the services, but also a tendency for the authority to go into the red. And some of the things that are troubling too are the recycling program is not making any money. They also decided after you left that they would start accepting construction demolition waste from Bernalillo County. Mr. Ellis thinks this, well, basically we had competing letters to the editor today, and he took exception to the fact that I called construction and demolition waste possibly dangerous. But all responsible authorities in the state, I don't know all, but most of them tend to refuse to accept that kind of waste. It involves dangerous chemicals, asbestos, lead paints, mostly from demolition situations with old buildings. And they're receiving $30 per ton for that service. It's going to add to quickly filling up our landfill, and will eventually the county's going to have to pay for a new cell, which is a big expenditure. I wanted also to caution you about this meeting. I found that I've gone to 4 of these meetings, and their accounting is not very transparent, to say the least. They've had, I noted in our report that they've had some embezzlement, and it's been less than $5,000, but it's proved that the internal controls of their accounting and their budget are weak, and this was a CPA finding. It's also troubling to me that they didn't uncover this embezzlement for over a year. Also, I've been trying for months and months to try to get some budget figures for what they accumulate from fees, like for vacant residences, and they haven't been able to provide them. Even one of the board members asked Mr. Ellis last time about this, and he said, I don't know. And this is not rocket science accounting. All you do is add up all the yellow card payments and get a figure for what the authority is receiving. I would caution you to, I know you are all smart commissioners, but you really need some help, I think, reviewing their budget. It's not transparent, as I mentioned, and they don't, the previous audits have not looked at internal controls. The MFA review is very cursory, and we've heard about MFA recently, how good they're doing on their audits. So I think you should find a qualified auditor to help you out in reviewing their budget figures, and even get that material before the meeting. As you probably know, there are auditors that audit other auditors. And I know of some of these people in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. And it might be worth your while to hire one, at least for a day, to help you review those figures. Because Most of us don't have a background in accounting or are not CPAs, and it really takes that kind of level to understand what they're doing over there. Also, I'd like to make a comment. We're still facing very big difficulties with that board. They're not friendly to any public involvement. I mean, it's not just us. And they have a process where you get on the agenda where the authority really censures your agenda item 2 weeks before you can be approved to get on the thing. And it's not democratic. It's run in almost a fascist, I'm sorry to use that word, but it's very undemocratic in how they run things. And I wish you'd look at that board sometime. The board, one of the board members today was started to be investigated by the police. It's on the front page of the Independent. And there are only 11 of them. One of them's under investigation. The other ones are, I hate to say it, but they're either politicians or bureaucrats. They don't have any technical knowledge of waste disposal. They do not provide any oversight of their budget and what's going on financially there. So basically, the board is run by the authority, by Mr. Ellis. And I think that you should look into that. I mean, you had some candidates here tonight that were just marvelous. I mean, that lady from Encino, what a great addition she would be to the Waste Authority Board of Directors. Somebody that understands accounting and budgets and financial statements. They don't have anything like that. The people on the board really spend most of their time trying to provide political cover for the authority. And I've worked with boards, governing boards, and you're supposed to have an arm's length distance from the people you oversee. And with these people, it's just a group hug. They invite in politicians like Mr. Salazar and even Commissioner Tapia, and they're really trying to show perpetually a good face to these influential people. And I think that's not the proper role of directors on this kind of board, who should be involved in oversight. In the long term, I think you should replace this board. And there's lots of violations right now with the JPA. The JPA needs to be either revised or this board forced to follow it. Eventually, there should be changes on 9412, because they're still collecting fees for no service for vacant residences and people who already have private haulers. I heard from one tonight who's a rather poor guy who lives in McIntosh, and he has a private hauler and he still has to pay the authority. And people don't understand that, and it should be reviewed. Eventually, I would recommend that you even consider abolishing this authority and going private. I'll tell you why. In Lincoln County, they service everybody. They go into the towns, they have the bins, they collect all the waste from everywhere. Here, this authority is only servicing the outlying regions, the unincorporated areas. Private haulers have aced them out in terms of servicing the towns and Moriarty and villages. And I think that demonstrates that they're not doing their best job. And I think the private way is always the best way. This authority was instituted originally because of the environmental group in the state, so that we wouldn't have trash spread all over our county. And that service can be rendered by a good operating private hauler. and there's 3 good ones operating already in the county. The only service the authority provides is to have the hold for them to dump the waste. And I think it's really high time for to have some oversight from the commission on these people. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but there's a big opportunity for money, embezzlement even, and nobody would know. The chairman has signatory power over $1.5 million on these accounts. And I've been involved with boards in the past, and suddenly some guy's gone to Switzerland with the money. And that could really happen here. You gotta have checks and balances, you gotta have 2 people signing for money taken out of accounts, and I don't see any internal controls in this authority. And I wish you would, in your review, you would pay attention to those safeguards for the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Descharnes.
Sure, just,
Yeah,
I
I'd
know
welcome any
I-
questions. I didn't want to keep you, but.
I attended the meeting that you were at, and one of the things that has really bothered me is that you had requested 10 items, and you'd requested it through the Freedom of Information,
Yes, sir.
and you had stated that you only received 2 of them. And then Mr. Ellis had said that you had received all of them.
No.
And so I'm wondering, as to why the discrepancy between him believing that you received them and you saying that you'd only get one.
No, that's not really in fairness to him. He didn't say that, Lonnie. He said that a lot of them didn't exist, and he wasn't required to provide them if they didn't exist. I've talked to Joy tonight about the contracts he continually refers to with Torrance County. And I asked him for those contracts, and he gave me a couple MOUs. So there is missing material, especially in the financial area. And we plan to file a complaint about it with the Attorney General, because
Okay.
some of this is obvious. Their accounting is either terribly poor or they're hiding things.
Okay,
And I hope it's just that it's poor.
good. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Descharnes. And we do know you guys are passionate about this, and are spending a lot of your personal time and money just so you can have peace of mind in the oversight. And even though it's a late hour, we are hearing you,
I appreciate that.
and we thank you for participating in your government process.
If I could just say one more thing.
Sure.
Many of you have personal friends on this board, and I think it behooves you to be very careful when you make decisions, especially with raising rates or changing the status quo, to remember that these are not, that you should not involve your friendships in these decisions. And if it does involve a close friend, you should abstain from it. What's the word?
Recuse.
Recuse yourself from the decision.
I agree with that, and it's in everything that we do, Art.
I know you.
I mean, tonight was a good example
Mhm.
of denying some friendships,
Mhm.
a chance to serve. And so I think that's everything that we do take in
I have faith
consideration.
in that. I do.
Yeah.